I do believe we are live. So I'll say, indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friend. I thank you for joining me again on another conscious evolution. It's a blessing, seriously. Thank you so much for finding yourself here, for giving me a little bit of your time, some of your attention, and all of your lovin's. I do appreciate it, greatly so. Today's stream topic is about stress. Yeah, specifically, is stepping into stress, right? I find every single time I decide I'm gonna do a certain level of stress, right? I'm gonna go to a festival next weekend. I'm out of the stress. Yeah, gang, gang, Nancy. I'm happy to hear that. I'm gonna go to a festival next weekend, and it's stressing me out, right? Because I like consistency. Surprise, surprise, right? Oh, you like consistency, Mel? Tell us more. I like consistency. I like knowing what's gonna happen. And going to a music festival is the opposite of that, right? So it makes me stress. But I know for a fact, right? Unwavering, undoubtedly, that if I go, I'm going to enjoy myself in one way or another. I'm going to learn something in one way or another. I'm going to be challenged in one way or another. And if I let the stress, the version of me that's like, I don't know if I want to do that. If I let that version of me win, I'll do nothing, right? So realizing that by conquering our stress, by seeing the stress and stepping into it, we literally achieve more, right? Not only do we achieve more experientially, but we also achieve more almost like evidence, right? That if you show yourself over and over again, that despite your stress over one or another situation, and you can do it, you get better at doing it, right? I appreciate you friends joining me for today's topic. It's a blessing. Let me open my chat so I can see your friends' comments. I think I saw Mojo. Of course, Shannon would be here. Nancy, of course. There we go. I think that's everybody for now. Sending all of you lovin's. It's nice having you. How are you doing? Let me know. Is there anything stressing you out? Maybe that's the line of questioning we have to ask, right? What, or maybe just what has been, instead of if there's anything. There probably is something, right? The economy, Mel. I'm stressing about the economy. I'm stressing about AI. Not really anymore so much, huh? I think we were going through like a moment there as a society, as humanity, stressing about AI. And this is maybe me speaking out my ass and conferring my higher self. He's like, yes, oh, you are speaking out your thank you. I know nothing, but I do feel like humanity has kind of like come to this point of like, oh, okay, maybe AI won't kill all of us, right? Maybe that's not the fractal. Climate change, is that stressing you out? Climate is changing. That's true, right? Is it room for stress, right? Should we be stepping into that stress? Stress more about climate change. I feel maybe there are things that we can try to do, right? I'm thinking about preparation or whatever, right? And that's like a way to step into stress, maybe. Economy, nothing you can do about that, yo. Like 8 billion human beings is a lot of people. Let me write some runes. First, intention though. What's the opposite of stress? Calm? Relax? I've done calm recently, so we'll do relax. 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 Relax, bro. Stop stressing yourself out. Step into it and find yourself on the other side. I'll give myself a gift. I'll give myself divinity. Give myself one of these. Give myself some abundance. Give myself some a ride. That's one of the things I'm stressing about, is having a ride, right? So we'll add that as an intention. Sicketh. Got the runes. I ripped 2 Garrix off accidentally. Put you back. Let me see. No comments? Maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. All right, stress myself out a little bit about there being no comments. Wondering if I'm doing something wrong or something. I'll just patiently await. I don't have to stress about anything, right? Again, I'm doing the opposite of what I'm saying I'm doing, but this is what I'm doing. Not saying something stresses me out. Things not being said stress me out. So I'm going to not say anything to lean into the stress. Yeah. It's completely okay, Nancy. Again, right? This is the lesson we're supposed to be learning. I don't joke about this stuff. Like I take it in stride, in fact. I feel like the universe has a weird way of teaching us lessons, and it seems to be very direct with me, right? Where the universe will notice me stressing about something, and then it goes, "Oh yeah? Oh yeah, you're stressed? How about you stress harder? Have you tried that? Pre-festival jitters are normal. You will find center in the adventure." I completely agree, bro. Thank you, Toasty, for joining us and sharing that fractal as well. Completely agreed, man. This is the way. We have Sam here, Joe Schmo too. So many blessings to you, dear friends. I'm not stressing about my phone passing out and playing music by itself right now. Yeah, it does seem like there's some energy, right? Like it's super windy, as you friends might have noticed. Usually I don't like sitting in the wind, but I ain't gonna stress. I ain't gonna stress about it. There's no stressing. No stressing into this stream. No. Stress for who? Stress for what? We're only gonna relax. There we go. Now the real challenge is gonna start, right? This is my immediate stressor. Will I be able to successfully roll a joint in this wind? Tune in next week to find out. Let's do it. I'll center this dude and I'll pinch. And I'll bring this. Ew, my wheat is getting blown away. That's not okay. We're finding a pocket of gentleness. I wonder what those pre-festival jitters are, Toasty. That's the thing I'm thinking about right now. Not stressing, right? Like the stress really only comes from not being able to do what I want to do, right? Like being able to connect with you friends. Like that's where the majority of my stress kind of resides. There's nothing in the festival experience itself that causes me any distress necessarily, right? Maybe my body is preemptively being a little bit spazzy about the potential psychedelics. I wouldn't put that past myself. Could be a reason for stress. But I wonder why, right? Because it is pretty consistent. I've had this feeling of stress even before I used to do the streams, right? When I came back from China, I went to this festival, Twilight, and it was so bad that I couldn't eat the 2 days before the festival. And then only upon getting there did I start feeling any better. Maybe it's like some sort of emotional preparation, right? Like the way that I was articulating it to myself back then. And I don't know if that's right, but it still comes up again. It's almost like balance, right? Like you're going to have a good time at this festival. That's pretty much guaranteed. And I'm saying pretty much guaranteed because I'm yet to not have a good time, right? Even through rain, even through hectic experiences, it's pretty consistently a good experience, right? A growing experience. Like for me, I find a lot of value in experiencing things that make me feel like I grow as a person. And maybe because I know, or at least a version of me knows, that all of that experience is coming, another version, this version of me, almost like pulls me back, right? Like slingshot vibes. Like I have to have a little bit of a better, a worse, less fun time right now so that I can contrast then and have an even better time, right? Is that possible? So to keep accentuating this fractal, I don't know how many of you friends have taken psychedelics, but psychedelics have that effect as well, where you might wake up in the morning feeling kind of out of it, right? Like you're not all there, or like you're feeling a little bit trippy or something like that. And then by the nighttime, you almost like make the decision that you now want to have a psychedelic experience. And it's almost like you preemptively knew, right? Like your body knew that you were going to take psychedelics that day, and you had the experience you had because of that. Right? I'm thinking about precognition right now. I'm also trying to attach the stream topic to this fractal of like how do we balance precognition with stress, right? Does precognition make you stress more? Technically, it's supposed to make you stress less because you know more, but I don't know if it works that way, unfortunately. Hey, Loisanas, here too. It's nice having you here, Toast. I mean, it goes without saying, but I want you to know. I see Joy Vive joining us too. Bless. I didn't think we're going to see Joy Vive once for the next week, and here she is, blessing us with her presence. Thank you for joining us. The universe will inevitably shine a spotlight on that which you focus. If we walk around trying to avoid stress, we will then be given ample opportunities to experience that feeling. That ain't the truth. You are the lens through which this conscious experience is focused, right? And if you point that lens at the things, or you point that lens away from the things that make you stress, the lensing effect means technically it's still going to amplify that which you're trying to point it away from, right? Maybe not in the same way, maybe in verse, right? Like I hope you friends see what I'm seeing in my mind's eye in trying to talk about this, because it doesn't actually make any sense. But conceptually, right? Metaphysically, it can kind of like have some sort of, sense to it. Universal attraction, absolutely. Seek enlightenment, seek harmony, seek balance, focus on these fractals, and they will surely become illuminated. Enlightenment, remembering that I am as source from source. Remembering that I can bring harmony into this moment. Realizing that as I bring harmony, balance is achieved. Focusing on these fractals, letting them become illuminated. Nice. I don't know if balance feels like nothing. Does balance feel like nothing? Right? In my mind, at least, balance can feel like numb, because you are quite literally leveling out the peaks, right? Reaching some sort of base level. At least that's the way I tend to experience it sometimes. Even though I value balance, I do also like experiencing the extremes. going back and forth between them as a skirting of the balance that we're trying to have, essentially. Mojo sending a message saying, I've been to some pretty large festivals. Just being packed in a huge crowd gives me stress, at least initially. That's the thing, Mojo. I think this is going to be one of the bigger festivals that I've been to. I do think so. I think there's going to be a lot of people. But in comparison to the festivals you friends have in America, our festivals are tiny, tiny, right? Like no more than 1,000 people kind of festivals. When there's like a sea of people, right? And it's literally physically taxing and hard for you to try and get to the front of the stage. I feel like that would be really stressful for me too. And as you mentioned, right, at least initially, and then it just becomes this almost like blanket of community, maybe again, allowing stress to dissipate in a new way. Balance feels like light, like weightlessness to me. Okay, weightlessness. I resonate with that. Maybe what I consider numb can be seen as weightless as well. Hey Google, define numb. Hey Google, define numb. Numb. Deprive of feeling or responsiveness. A part of the body deprived of the power of physical sensation. If you're weightless, surely parts of your body will be deprived of physical sensation, right? I feel like the thing that's stressing me out is the fact that numb is mostly associated with something negative, right? And I feel like the reason that it stresses me out is because I agree, right? Part of me, at least, agrees that being numb isn't ideal. Especially since we're trying to attach it to this understanding that there can be something to gain in stepping into stress, right? Seeing that which stresses you out, right? Circumstance, job opportunity, going up to a girl and talking to her, or vice versa, right? Like there's a certain level of stress that's gonna come along with that situation, but you can do that. And in doing that, technically you're not numb, right? Like I feel like there's a lack of numbness in that experience where you kind of like show up with that stressful moment because your adrenaline starts flowing, your heart starts beating, your breathing increases, you know, suddenly you're feeling a lot of things, the opposite of numb. So like I'm looking right now, right? Because I do agree with what you're saying, Joe Schmo, I do, right? Focusing on the good, focusing our lens on those things. But I feel like the thing that I'm trying to extract, the wisdom I'm trying to kind of like crystallize, if you will, is the fact that those things that you mentioned, that harmony, that enlightenment, that peace, what was the other word that you used? Balance. That balance can only be reached by heading towards the stress, right? You can only have that enlightening experience when you go and talk to that person. You can only reach that level of harmony when you stand up for something. You can only find that balance when you dissipate, release yourself of that pain of stress, right? At least that's the way I'm trying to see it. There's no room to dance at the front. That sucks. I love riding a rail or starting a pit, but my love is for weirdos in the back. I also do tend to do that, right? Like at certain points in the night or during the festival, there'll be like a little bit denser crowd spaces, right? And then I'll either dance so aggressively, right? I don't hurt people, but I dance like I'm angry at myself, essentially. And then people will just inevitably give me like some space to move around. But if the energy is too high on the dance floor, I'll also just kind of like dance on the sidelines. You know, like I feel like room is kind of important to me. Otherwise, you're just like standing still, just doing like little hops And there's a certain level of funness, to dancing that way too. So maybe it's fine. We have Shell. Happy day after your birthday. Shell, blessings to you. I hope you had a fun time yesterday. Numb for me comes from overwhelm. There we go. How about that, Nancy? Reaching a point of saturation, right? Like you have been pushed to the point where now numbness is almost like a defense mechanism. Like you have to go numb in order to cope. Again, the intention is relax. To relax. We're extending the birthday to the weekend. Let's go, Shell. Bless you. I hope you have a good weekend. My brother's girlfriend, Karin, in their family, they do like birthday week. So like instead of just having the birthday, you have a birth week essentially, and it's like a Uno card, right? If anybody does something that you don't want them to do, you go, but it's my birthday week. It's my birthday week. You can't go away. It's my birthday week. Weirdo in the back over here. Same. Also the weirdo that runs up to strangers and talks to them like I've known them my whole life, right? And people usually meet me with like a certain level of stress, where they're like, "What is this? What does this person want from me?" And then they quickly realize, I want nothing. I don't want anything. Maybe if I want something, I want a conversation, right? I want to chat. I want to talk. I want to talk to you. You look like a fun person to talk to, so here I am. Happy extended birthday, Shell. Weekend birthdays are great. So much blessed. Cheers to the weirdest in the back. Cheers to the weirdest in the back. Sending them all relaxing energy. Doing birthday month because my birthday and 3 of my friends' birthdays are this month. Nice. Birthday month sounds like a whole vibe actually, Nancy. I hope you and your friends make the most of it. You have any plans? Any adventures you're gonna go on? Something you would like to do? I try to focus on the things I know I'll enjoy. Imagine yourself connecting with strangers you never thought you would. All the fun shops you'll see, and all of the trinkets you'll have to resist buying while high AF. Weirdly enough, when I get high, I get less prone to buy. I get into this self-referential space, right, where I'm like, oh yeah, the version of me that I want to be is fighting against needing things, right? And I am in this state of mind, psychedelically in tune, not because I want to have more, but because I want to understand more. And buying more doesn't really help me understand, unfortunately. Maybe it makes me understand that buying things do not actually bring me lasting happiness. Buying things. Buying things causes me stress. I tend to be very mindful of buying things. I've probably been brain damaged by finance YouTube, but the understanding of only spending money on things that earn capital has definitely been stuck with me, right? If you're gonna spend money on something that makes you money, not something that only costs you money. I don't know if that's good advice, always, but it has helped me see my spending through a certain lens. But again, that lens can be stressful because inevitably we end up wanting things that do not earn any money, right? One of the things that I'm thinking about, for instance, one of the things I want is an EUC. I've shared this with you friends, right? An electric unicycle. Sinsane, you friends know Sinsane. He was basically the person who introduced me to this mode of transport. And I saw some of his YouTube videos where he was just riding on a single wheel. And honestly, In my mind, the first thing that registered in watching him do that is you're insane. You're crazy, bro. Why would you do that? Why would you stand on one wheel and then through traffic? That's fucking crazy, right? And I'm still there. I am. But but there's also sidewalks, right? Or bike paths or whatever. So you don't have to actually drive in traffic. And I start justifying where I'm like, yeah, but I could make such cool content using this EUC, right? I could, and I'm gonna do this. It's still gonna happen. I'll see how long it's gonna take me before I really justify it, right? Because there's like two versions of myself. There's the version of me that's impulsive, and that version of me is very easily, super easily convinced, right? Like it's still logical, but it likes to be convinced, right? For instance, like technology, it's like so on board. It's like what new tools that I can make stuff with. I'm on board. Let's do it. Let's go. And then there's the version of me that's rational, logical, uh, untouched, unaffected. Even if I do get the new things, right? And that version of me is like, hey, bro, you don't need that right now, right? And I feel like that version of me is the version that actually stresses. It has to put its foot down, and then the kid inside of me starts kicking and screaming, and I have to just be like the yeah, there it goes away. Nice. I didn't even have to say something. I wanted to for a second, but the kicking and screaming, suddenly gone. No more stress. I feel like weirdly enough, something in me is changing the more I trip myself out about this stress fractal. Because weirdly enough, you might not know what it's like to exist without stress. Right? Think about that. Really, really try and like conceive what I'm saying. The fact that your entire life, one way or another, there has been either something teaching you, a parent, a teacher, other kids in your peer group, etc., right, teaching you that there are things to be stressed out about, right? There's so much yikes, this yikes and that yikes and this yikes video and this yikes thing that's happening there, right? Stress. Thinking about me as a child, you know and seeing the idea, the understanding, the belief, I guess maybe that's the right word, of separation and lack. Uh, there's another word I'm looking for. Scarcity. There it is. Right? Messing with my brain, causing me stress, And then I got siblings. And then suddenly, the same candy that my mom would buy for the house would now last half as long. And then I got another sibling. And then it lasts one third as long. And then I got another sibling. And then it lasts one quarter as long. Right? And we can think of that if you don't have any siblings. You can just think of it from a population perspective. I would be surprised if you have spent your whole life and you haven't heard the term overpopulation once, right? And the stress that people try to attach to that fractal. We are not overpopulated. In fact, we're going to see a population decline in our lifetimes. Unless we figure something out, we do something drastic about human population, right? Like, we do not have a population problem. There's more than enough. That's the point I'm trying to make. There's more than enough to support apparently 100 billion human beings on Earth. We can do 100 billion, right? And I honestly, I would kind of like the possibility, the fractal of a trillion, 100 trillion human beings living throughout the Milky Way, right? Just as like to keep us kind of humble, Just the Milky Way, right? Casual 100 trillion human beings. Just imagine the amount of experience, the stories, and you know what instantly comes up in me? The stress. Just imagine the amount of stress. Man, why do we stress so much? So many of us stressing about so many things that end up at the end of the day being absolutely inconsequential. Right? Because I know every time I go to a festival, there is a certain low hum level of stress that comes along with it. And then every single time I return from said festival, all of those things that I was stressing out about were completely irrelevant to my actual fractal. And I understand, right? Apparently, it's your subconscious mind catastrophizing, going into the worst case scenarios, so that even if the worst case scenario doesn't end up happening, at least you're prepared, at least conceptually so. But really, though, right? Instantly, good old, is it Seneca? Seneca comes to my mind where he goes, technically, it's a gendered quote, but I can translate it. People suffer more in mind. No. Backtrack. There are more things to be alarmed by than there are things to be harmed by. And as a result, people end up suffering more in mind than they do in actuality. Right? That there are more things for us to worry about than there are things that are actually going to end up hurting us. So we suffer, we trip ourselves out, we actually have a bad time inside, more so than we have a bad time on the outside. And I feel, weirdly enough, that there's like ratios, right? Like the amount of bad time you have is completely dependent on you, right? And I feel like that bad part of yourself is actually uh, dependent on whether or not you're willing to pursue that stress, right? To think of it from a perspective of reward. So if you, let's say, for instance, right, if you stress in going to a job interview, so much so that you end up not going, a part of you can tell you that you actually won in relying on your stress because you didn't get hurt in the way that you could have been hurt going to that job interview. You can supplement walking up to a person that you were attracted to, right? Whatever that may be. And instead of doing that, knowing that there's a certain level of stress attached to it, you don't. And then you tell yourself, actually, that was good because that person would probably reject me or whatever, right? And then you end up suffering more because maybe that person didn't reject you in another fractal, but you tell yourself that they would, thinking that you are winning, having relied on your stress as some sort of metric as to how you're supposed to show up in this world, right? And therefore, you end up suffering more. Twice. You suffer the fact that you didn't get to have that experience in that moment, and you also suffer the loss of all of the experiences to follow the version of you that pursues stress instead of running away from it. Right? It's the whole risk to reward ratio thing. Sure, there's a risk. The risk is you might be denied or rejected. Right? That's the appropriate word apparently. Rejection. What a strong word. You might be rejected. Right? And then you continue with your life. Right? You didn't die. You're fine. And then you get to do it again. Now having shown yourself that even if you were stressed and if you show up for that version of yourself, you're going to be fine. I feel like unfortunately this also has to be taken with like a certain level of moderation because I'm seeing the extreme fractal of like, oh, Mel told me I should pursue my stress. Looking at that hungry pack of lions makes me super stressed. Let me go walk up to them. right? Like, please. I cannot, I cannot do all of the legwork here. Oh, I think I missed a few. Love is true. Do they have areas of local artists and craft markets? This one I think will have actually Toast. Like they usually do, but I feel like this one is going to be a little bit more full, if that's the right word, right? Like they like mentioned like yoga and like breath meditations and like conscious talks. Like apparently it's gonna be pretty in depth, and I've never been to a festival like that, so I'm looking forward to it. That's fun. Hey, my scarf almost got dipped in my water. I suffer from anxiety and depression, but watching your streams help. Plus, love South African accent. Love you, Simon. Thank you, friend. Like, I feel that really is what I'm here for. You know, I still live a life of occasional bouts of depression and anxiety, right? And I feel I've gotten better at it. Apparently, and this is me paraphrasing again, a shaman is someone who has been sick. Thank you, Papa. Because you are. Dad gave me a chocolate saying, "You're awesome." Yeah, get awesome. Thank you, Papa. I don't even know where I was going. Maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. Okay, back to it. Shamans. Apparently, a shaman is someone who used to be sick and then got better, right? Through willpower, through new practice, through seeking something that helps. And in doing so, equips themselves to help others as well. And the fact that you are being helped by this, dear friend, that truly is a blessing. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. You're awesome. Dad being a cool dude as well. It's been better between me and Dad. Me and him actually smoked a little bit of a joint last night. Had some cool chats. Nothing inflammatory. It was nice. Slowly but surely, we show up for the things that stress us out, right? Pippi is making herself comfy next to me. Oh, just sweetie patweetie. To be a Pippi. What a blessed life she lives. No, 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 no. Melt, I'm leaving with a friend and our dogs for a 4-day getaway on the coast, about 250 kilometers from where I live. We're going to enjoy nature, hot tubs, and shrooms. Nice. That sounds like a good time, dear friend. Have the coolest chats, make the most of it. Those are the memories that you can't replace. I just wish they were a little bit more permanent, right? Because they are permanent, they become a part of you. But those memories are so beautiful that you almost like want to experience them like triple or quadruple. Like I'm having flashbacks to the weekend that Johan and Christian was here. Like there was moments where we were just like breaking, like laughing ourselves straight up. Like we were lying on a mattress and some of those cushions, watching the stars, just having conversations, right? And you're laughing so hard that you're like in the ground. You're like spazzing out onto the ground. Like you've lost body control, kind of vibes, right? Like it was so beautiful. Having those moments where you almost find yourself in that solace, that state of this is this is beautiful. And just like seeing these two beings sitting in front of me and getting to tell them that I love them. And I feel that with you friends as well, right? I feel like it's even more dense when it comes to the experiential fractal that we're having right now. But it's the same energy that we're trying to elicit from this universe. I appreciate you, friends, for showing up. My birthday is in 3 weeks. I have to plan something good because I don't plan anything. If I don't plan anything, nothing happens. Yeah, that does seem to be the case, right? Planning things stress people out, Lowenzana. So I'm proud of you for wanting to show up. I got a one wheel during the pandemic. It saved my sanity. Get the UC melt. You see, Mojo. You see that now you have given that impulsive version of me, so much fire, dude. It's pointing at Mojo right now, being like, Mojo got one wheel, dude. Save sanity, Brightly. Want to save your sanity? Right? Go mobile. Move yourself through space and time. See things. Just have that experience of, oh yeah, the world is really big. Even if I can move really fast in any direction I point myself in, I can keep going. And I get nowhere because I am already there wherever I take myself. Oh man. Yeah, it is something that I'm looking forward to. I just cannot justify it at this point. I don't have that kind of cash, right? Apparently, the way you're supposed to buy things is you should be able to buy two of something easy peasy, like it ain't no thing, right? If you're to buy anything, apparently, right? Because that way, if the thing that you bought yourself adds so much value to your life and you had to instantly lose it, no bars hauled, you need to be able to get a new one, right? Because it's so important to you. And I'm not there. They're expensive. They're very expensive. Technically, it's a vehicle, right? It will be used as a vehicle in a way that I can actually, get myself a little bit more mobile. I feel like I will still do like most of the distance, if you will, with traditional modes of transport. But after I get to those traditional places, right, like a city, I feel like that can be an exponentially easier way for me to get around. No emissions, you charge them from a wall. They cost like $3,000 though. Yeah, I've heard you gasp. Yeah, me too. Me too, gasp. I gasp so much. Oh, sorry. That's a lot. That's a bit too much. However, though, it's like, wait a second. You see. Yes, I just saw for a split second, Jane left and then the message disappeared. And my heart took a dip. I had to stop the fractal I was in instantly to switch to serious mode. Jane left the hospital. Thank you all for the well wishes. Jane is gonna be so fine. Bless, 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 dear Jane. I'm seeing an orb on a stand. That stand has curvature going down. The orb is very dark, deep purple with light blue sheen. Maybe you can have a chat with her about that then. Ask her what that's supposed to mean. Sending her lovins. That was my intention. Much love, everyone. Lurky lurk, duck dad. I've stepped into the stress myself. Step into it, bro. One step at a time, you're going to see it through. I believe in you, bro. I suffer from anxiety. Bless again, Simon. I could easily deal with a pack of lions. I'll take the stress over financial stress of a spouse. Yeah, I'm so sorry, bro. Right? Like just hearing those words, I both know exactly what you mean and have absolutely no clue. Right? Yeah, that's the best thing I could say. I love you, bro. We're here with you. Keep showing up for love. That's the only thing I can add to that. Lines are predictable. You see what I mean? I know exactly what you mean, and not at all, right? Because the level of unpredictability, the depth, the fractal. Simon, one of these days, if you feel like getting anything off your chest, we're here for it. It's our speciality. In fact, we do listen. And you have multiple friends that's willing to listen to you, right? Like, think about that. This is probably one of the spaces where you can be like the most listened to ever. Because you might say something to someone, right? Hey, person, one person, maybe your mom or your dad or your therapist. Hey, therapist, I've been feeling kind of bad, right? I feel insecure because of this thing, and this is the step I want to take to get it better. And the therapist can be like, right? They spent like, what, 2 minutes listening to you. We have like 11 friends in here, right? So you saying the exact same thing, now suddenly 22 minutes of having been listened to you happened. That's not how it works, Mel. I mean, doesn't it work that way? Maybe that's the way we heal humanity, right? And I've been thinking about this a lot when it comes to the internet, right? I like to see the internet as our Earth's central nervous system, right? Like there is a part of this Earth, this bit of Earth that gets to see with my eyes, right? Like I can take this device and I can point you at the things that I'm looking at, right? And that will be like looking through a human's eyes in this point of time at this point of Earth, right? And maybe I feel something, and that is being contributed to the internet. And then doing that over a spectrum where we notice when things are bad, right? We notice when people are suffering. We get to see that. How that is going to lead us to a level of compassion that's almost inaccessible when we're just ourselves, right? It might end up adding more stress, but that's a good thing, at least in today's context, right? The stream topic. Like again, if being more interconnected and feeling other people's pain, right? And as a result of that, being more proactive in making sure people don't end up suffering, that's the type of stress we're supposed to be stepping into, right? Like it doesn't help to kind of step away from that. We're only delaying the inevitable. Mm, 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 mhm. Thanks, Shell. I'm self-medicating with alcohol and cannabis. Pretty sure I ain't gonna make it. I mean, none of us are gonna make it, Simon, right? Like I was really scrolling through my fractal of what am I supposed to say to this? And I feel like the morbid answer is the right one in this context, for you specifically. None of us are gonna make it, bro. All of us are gonna die eventually. When that is not something that we know. So it's not something that we ought to stress about, right? We are here right now. And I'm happy that you're here right now, Simon. That's what matters, right? And if you need to self medicate with alcohol and cigarettes and weed for now to continue being, then maybe you're supposed to do that. But as soon as you're ready to show up for this life, right? And I mean, I spoke weed too, probably for the same reason, right? Also a self-medication. I was part of the chat me and Dad had yesterday isn't talking about our experiences with weed and what it does for us. And I noticed in my dad an uncomfortability slash unwillingness to give weed any credit, right? Where my credit was, weed helps me soften. It gives me that space of stressless, maybe a little bit, right? And my dad was like, no, I I don't think it helps me with anything, right? It does this, right? Like he was talking about blood pressure, like it helps him with his blood pressure. But then the next day his blood pressure is up again, right? And like seeing that difference in why it is we do it and how it is we experience those the exact same chemical technically, right? Again, I feel like that is the point of us that leans into the stress or not. Pippi is being so cute. Yeah, you sweetie patootie. Mush, 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 mush. So nice you got to have that with Papa Mount. Love is true, shit. Love is true. The more we show up for love, the more love will show up for you. Right? And it is hard. It is hard. I feel like it might be the hardest thing that you can do, but it's also going to be the most worth it. The most worth it thing you can do. I love spending time with all of you in the morning, but I have got some stuff to do right now. You were loved, Joshmo. You were here with the brow, and you're still gonna be here in this moment, even if you're doing your stuff. We'll see you again soon. We'll be the ones who encourage you, Simon. We want you to be healthy enough to keep showing up. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I want them to be healthy enough to keep showing up, not only for this space, but for the entire world, right? And I feel like that is what Shell is saying. The entire world needs you, Simon, as much as it needs anything else, right? Like literally, just think about this, bro. Do you think I play a significant role? Yes, no. I'm gonna assume egoically so. Yes, yes, Mel, you're doing good. Oh, thank you, self. That's nice, right? Now, compare yourself to that. That might be a bad thing. Technically, comparison in my mind isn't something you're supposed to do, right? And then if you didn't rate yourself at the same fractal that I am, now think about this. This little creature here right now, her, is an extremely important being in my world, right? Pippi is not going to talk to other people. Pippi is not going to go out of her way to make other people's lives a better place. Pippi is not going to contribute to a community. Pippi is not going to, help feed the hungry. Pippi is not going to help build houses for people, right? Pippi ain't going to do any of that. And yet, Pippi is an extremely important part of my life and the person that I get to be in this world as a result of having something, someone, I do think of her as a someone so loving in my life that I get to love. And she loves me in turn, right? Now, and this is, I don't know if it's again correct to do that, within comparison, Pippi is a smaller soul than you are, exponentially so, right? Not less than, but smaller, right? Like she cannot do that which you're here to do. It's not her job, it's not her fractal, but you can do what you're here to do. And it is going to be stressful. It's going to be super stressful, right? Like it's significant. The stakes are high. I get it. I do. But that's what you're here to do. And the world needs you. As much as I need Pepe in my life to be the person that I am right now, the world needs you to be the world that's going to be in the future. Continue living. You better live. I dare you to not live. What? I dare you to continue living longer than me. Yeah, that's the bet, right? Like I want to live at least 1,000 years, at least. Like 1,000 years, I'd be happy dying at 1,000. I'll be like, okay, good. I got to see like 1,000 years of friendship, of love, of joy, of beauty, of companionship, of pippies. Right? You can live to 1,001 and then you can die. I'll give you permission. Shan, it is October. What is that? Birthday? I'm guessing so. Beautiful day in South Africa. It is kind of nice actually. It's not too hot and the wind has been acceptable because it's not cold. It's kind of like nice temperature wind. I'm not being cooled down by it, but I'm also not being heated up by it. It's almost like I'm just sitting in like an ocean and it's just like whoosh, overing me. Work letting out early today. Noise. Noise. I'm happy to hear that. Sending you love it. It's nice having you here, Joe. Simon, I'm sorry to hear that. I've struggled with weed and alcohol too. You can do whatever you want to, though. You don't have to keep drinking and smoking if you don't want to. It's entirely your choice. But remember that you have that power. One of my favorite things to say to people to yes and with Dan is this moment holds the possibility for an entirely new life for you, right? That in this moment you get to make decisions that will change your entire life. And this moment always has that potential, right? Instantly, the thing that I start asking myself is what can I do right now that will change my entire life? Instantly, that's the question that comes. What can I do right now that will change my entire life? I made myself a mind sword. At first, it was a gem with like a beveled metal edge holding it in. But that metal was extending into every direction. And then I was trying to pull that gem out of the metal. And what came out of the metal, encapsulating the gem, was a sword with a crystal blade. How is that going to change my entire life? I don't know. Maybe it did. Maybe just in hearing those words, it did something for you. Maybe that's going to change all of our lives now. And we won't know unless we live the rest of our lives, right? At least 1,100 years. Melt, you said 1,001. I've changed my mind. 1,100 now. Simon, love is true. Simon, I read something in a writer's help book that really helped me stop doing that shit. The author recommended a journal and to write in it whenever I felt like doing the thing I wanted not to. Yes, that is amazing advice, Sam. Like with cravings for me, right? If I find myself wanting to eat excessively, journaling has a way of giving me something else to do, right? Like that really is as simple as it is. It's not necessarily about it being a silver bullet or something that fixes the problem. It just gives you something else to do, right? And it's better to do that than to do the thing you don't want to do, kind of vibe. That's exactly how it works. Mel, love you so much. I know, I do know, but I also don't want to assume, right? Hey, fuck, is it raining on me right now? I felt suddenly a drop fell on me, but there's like such wispy clouds. Surely that can't be rain. There we go. So I've been dreading this message. If you pay $3,000 for a unicycle, I will slap the shit out of you. Rather duck that. Unfortunately, right? Like your last comment about, throwing a stick in front of me while I'm riding the UC, and now you'll slap the shit out of me. You're only making me want one more, dude. Like part of me is like, oh yeah, I can show you, duck that. How? I'll show you, duck that. Why? It's because it's a child, though. That version of me is chill, though. I want everything, and also, meh. You're meh. Too late, duck that. Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's too late, though. It's gonna happen, bro. It's gonna happen. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. I'm not buying myself a combustion vehicle, though, right? Like a combustion vehicle in South Africa is gonna cost me like $10,000. So it's, in my mind, a third of the cost for a vehicle. I'm going to use 60%, maybe even 70% of the time, right, in comparison. So in my mind, it's an ecological choice as well, because I can move myself through space and time with electricity that I can, at least technically, generate from sunlight. I don't have to combust fuel that is non-renewable, right? And put it in my air that I breathe alongside my friends and family, right? Like I cannot do that. So I can justify, in my mind, spending money on an electric vehicle because that is what it is, right? Sure, it's gonna be fun, but it's fun to drive a car as well, right? Duh. Like it's a vehicle, it's something to move you. And the weather here in South Africa is mostly dry, right? And if it's not, I get to live in a fractal where I don't have to go outside if I don't want to. I've justified this so many times, bro. It's just a money thing at this point, right? It's just like, yeah, that's not the wisest thing you can do with cash right now, so don't. And then I'm like, yeah. Also, unfortunately, the reasonable / logical version of myself knows the longer I don't spend money on something, the better the thing I want to buy gets for the money that I spend, right? So it's this factor in my mind of like, yeah, you know what? I'll just buy nothing for the next 50 years, and then I'll get everything I want with the money I saved. And it's gonna be some of the best shit ever. Obviously, that's not gonna happen because I do not have that level of self-control. However, I can wait a year, or like 3. That I can do. So I'll see it through, right? Slowly but surely, I'll show up for the stress. I'll show up for it. You can buy an actual motorcycle for half of that. That will at least have some kind of utility. Duck Dad, that thing has an extreme amount of utility, bro. Like people are literally doing Uber Eats with those things. Your hands are free, right? So you can actually use your hands still. Where with a motorcycle, you can no longer use your hands because your hands have to steer you. There's more utility with an EUC than there is with a motorcycle. And a motorcycle, in my mind, uh, is something dangerous, knowing myself, right? Because of the stability of a motorcycle and the way that you get to lean into it, if you will, lean into the stress, right? Is not what I'm supposed to be getting myself. I know myself a little bit too well, unfortunately, and those vehicles put me in the position to kill myself. So I'd rather not, right? With something that balances underneath your body, there's a certain level of consideration that comes with speed, right? If you're on two wheels, you don't have to think about how fast you're going. If you're on one wheel, you do, because how fast you're going is literally whether or not you're standing still, right? And if you're like basically a limp body on something going 200 kilometers per hour, nay, 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 and I want to. I like stuff like that, right? It's a part of me that does lean into the stress, but that is the adrenaline speaking. Mm-hmm. By reaching for the journal and writing out why I'm feeling like doing the thing, it's helped me to clarify for myself and what I want to change. Like I'm thinking about a fractal of after you spend the time writing down, right? Maybe like make that the practice. Still allow yourself to do the thing that you don't want to do, right? But only after you journal about it. And weirdly enough, apparently that is like a monk technique as well. I don't know if I'm stereotyping right now by saying that, but apparently within the Buddhist monasteries, they have this practice of not living in a place of denial, right? Where if you want to eat ice cream, but do so with intention and mindfulness, right? Like really eat the ice cream, feel the texture, right? Smell it beforehand, eat it slowly, savor, right? Savor. I feel like savoring is something I would like to get better at, right? And then writing about that in your journal. Yeah, I would like to savor this meal that I'm going to have next, right? Really become conscientious of that. And then, have your day of indulgence or your cheat meal or whatever. I think it's just a matter of awareness, right? It's not wrong or right, it's awareness. You become aware of the thing that you do perpetually with a pattern and how it serves you or not. And then you, with that awareness, change, as Sam beautifully said as well. Dan, you can buy a unicycle. Dan is also getting one. I hope so. Me and Dan can go for rides together. Slap with love, but goddamn, is that a crazy amount of money? It is, bro. It is. But I also do not want to buy myself a car, right? So like pay attention to that as well. We do not get cars for the prices that you friends get them in America. Like I feel like that should also be shared, right? You can't buy a beater for $1,000 in South Africa. That does not exist here. All right? It's not a thing. You friends have been in the car market. Your country has had wealth for generations. Your friends have literally 1,000 times more wealth in your country than we do. So that means our cars, comparatively, are very expensive things to own and to buy in the first place. So yeah, that's also something that unfortunately you do not have the perspective of as to why I have come to this conclusion, this decision in myself. Yes, it's a lot of money, right? But it is also not something I have to insure through a vehicle insurer. It's not something that I have to fuel up that burns $100, literally a day. I do not have that kind of cash, dude. But I can charge my vehicle with sunlight, That I can do, right? You can buy solar panels literally for the price that you would spend on gasoline in a month. You can buy enough solar panels to power your vehicle, right? Like that is where I'm coming from, right? I'm paying attention to how things have been. And you can also use that battery, like literally the batteries in your vehicle as batteries. Charge your laptop, charge your cell phones, right? So it becomes it's an actual utility vehicle, dude. Like that's why when you mention it has no utility whatsoever, like it's almost like a part of me gets offended, bro. Like I feel like it's one of the most, like especially living in this country where, like fortunately today is only 2 hours, right? Where sometimes we have 15-hour power cuts in our days. Today we only have 2 hours, and I'm celebrating. I'm super happy about that, right? Having batteries is good. It's very nice where I can charge my stuff when there's no electricity. I already have batteries, fortunately. They're literally keeping the Wi-Fi on when the power goes off these days. But being able to ride my batteries wherever I go, even better, right? I don't have to carry batteries in my hands. I can ride my batteries. That sounds sicketh. Good news about that, Simon, is that the roadblock is just that, a barrier. You can go around it. You can go straight through it, right? You can, no, don't, please. You can climb over it. You could smash a love hole through it. Yeah. I like how you use the word love hole, and my mind just went straight with like, go straight through, melt it. You can do that in your own time too, slowly but surely. You'll do it, bro. We love you, man. Not going to make it. I mean, maybe feeling a sense of loss, right? Like, what's the point kind of vibe, not going to make it. But that's why I counter with, like, you're gonna die anyway. All of us are gonna die anyway. So you might as well live while you're alive, right? Right? Is that naive? I love reflecting on the day in March when I showed up broken from a friendship. This place, these people, this form of friendship is healing. 1 minute is magnified through multiple different eyes, multiple different hearts, multiple different moments in time, feeling, consciously evolving, right? I love those words, consciously evolving. Every single time I say them, it feels like it becomes more significant. It truly is something that you friends impress me with. Like sun through a magnifier on an ant, we heat us up to the point of melting. Trapped in a block of flats in a rough part of the UK. So watching your stream is refreshing. Peppy is so cute. Well said, Mel. Thank you. Bro, you are loved, dude. I mean, some people are literally vying to get into some flat in the UK, right? Like that's the joke. Yes, it might be stressful right now, but things change, right? That is what hope is. Knowing that things will change. That is inevitable. It's going to happen. Hope also, with that in mind, is your understanding that you're a part of it, right? That you get to induce that change. You get to make a difference. Maybe that's what you're called to, Brother Bear. In those flats, maybe you can, spend an hour a day writing meaningful little notes on a piece of paper and just leaving those little pieces of paper sprawn out in the apartment blocks, right? You will unironically make the world a better place, even in your space right now. You're unhappy where you live now, Simon. You can make a plan to get out of that neighborhood. Yes. It's not always easy with jobs and having enough money to do so, though. Oh, by the way, Simon, sometimes we will all focus our love and encouragement on you, and it might freak you out. You deserve to get big love from friends, right, team? Also, we're not a cult. Nope. Nope, no, definitely not a cult, right? I feel in denying it, it's more sus. The way that I like to, counter this fractal, I don't even know where I saw it, but it is a little bit of paraphrasing. Apparently, a cult is when a bunch of people come together and believe in the same deity, or that one person has access to said deity, right? And in this space, we make it very clear that every single one of us have access to everything, right? To God, to source, to the universe, however you want to articulate. You have access to that because you are it. You are that which you are seeking, right? That's what we keep reminding ourselves of here. So I feel I do agree. It might be intense sometimes, but love is true. That's how we counter. Yeah, yeah, it's intense. I know, but love is true. Like that's what that's what's happening right now. That's what you're experiencing. As someone once sang, you can't get what you want until you know what you want. No, Marshall, love is true. Need to reload on polish lager. Be right back. I'm guessing that's a beer type. Nice. Introducing the first ever swaggered unicycle, starting at $3,000. I mean, if it's good, like, what does swaggered motor unicycle mean, though, dude? Like, like, unironically, I don't know if you know this, like, toast, brother Dan, but I do eventually want to make my own unicycle as well, right? It's gonna be the most flowery one. There's gonna be so many flowers in it. But the Swagger unicycle, does it have like a Swagger dispenser? Yeah, okay, there's more cursed information flowing to my brain right now. So what you would do is you have a compartment that you fill with Swaggart, right? It is yogurt, so it has like a shelf life. Maybe you can use the batteries to keep it cold so it lasts longer, right? We can give it like a week, maybe like a week and a half, 2 weeks if you're pushing it, right? And then it has like a little injection nozzle that at a certain velocity, right, depending on the speed at which you are traveling, launches a gallop of Swaggart out in front of you. And all you have to do is open your mouth and receive Swaggart. That's so cursed. Yes, I love it. Yes, the Swaggart mobile. You just watch someone eating yogurt as they're traveling at 50 miles an hour on a single wheel. It's like, what the hell did I just witness? What was that? Eat the ice cream like that's a 10. As Hank Hill said after Bobby made his own money, I hate those pants more than life itself, but you earned that money, and I can't tell you anything about it. I didn't even think about it's my money. I'll do what I want with it. That's definitely not the way that I feel about money, at least. Because yes, it is my money. I get to do what I want with it. But I've noticed, painfully so, that buying things doesn't actually make me proportionally happy just for having money and doing with it what I want, right? Like I got to experience that in China, where I had enough money to spend on online shopping and having proportionally much more money than I did before that experience, I wasn't proportionally happier. In fact, baseline, I was less happy, right? So like that just showed me that there are more important things. No, there are more important things. Buy things that contribute value to your life and to the lives of others, right? Okay, bro, you're not telling me that it's safer to drive a unicycle than a motorcycle. You have lost your marbles, and I love it. Bro, it depends on how you drive a motorcycle, right? Like, knowing me, I know myself, right? Know thyself is wisdoms. Knowing myself, even on dirt bikes, right, with knobby tires, on loose sand, I drive as fast as I can, as often as I can, right? I know that about myself. So putting myself on a super bike is gonna be more dangerous than climbing on a unicycle because a unicycle goes 50 miles an hour top speed. A super bike goes 200 miles an hour top speed. You see, right? Even if I fall, which is likely on a unicycle at 50 miles an hour, I might break something. I might have a few bruises, but I'm not going to spaghettify myself. I'm not going to turn myself into mincemeat, right? At 200 miles an hour, though, you probably will. That's the point I'm trying to make. I'm not losing my marbles. I'm speaking from reason. Da-da-da-da. Look at me using no hands on my unicycle. Motorcycle unsafe. It depends on the rider, bro. It depends on the rider. Can't go as fast as motorcycles. There we go, Nancy. Exactly. Why not just get an electric bike? An electric bike would also be nice, right? But it's again a mode of riding. Like when you're riding a vehicle with more than one wheel, you are steering the vehicle, and the vehicle is then steering itself. When you are on one wheel, you are the input mechanism, right? It's like it's a mind-body connection kind of thing, where if you're driving a car, there's a certain level of disconnection. So people can fall asleep, right, behind the wheel because there's a disconnect between doing this and moving at 120 kilometers per hour, right? If you're standing, right, you doing this versus you doing this with your body, you can literally feel the effect of the thing that it is you're riding. And I feel like that's something I would like. I don't know what it's like, right? I'm again, I don't know if it's stress. Maybe it's the reverse of stress. Anticipation, right? Like there's a certain level of anticipation in my mind. So maybe I'm hyping it up. But I know from experience of people that do ride these things. Like for instance, Nancy. Is it Nancy? No, it was. I think it was Nancy. That got herself a one wheel. I wanted to say float board. Apparently that's like the new non-brand name one, and apparently it's better, right? Like the good old right to repair stuff is tripping through my brain. It's fun being able to move yourself, right? And having something that's silent on top of that. Technically, the EUC could also do that for you, but a motorcycle is not something that I want. Had a motorcycle, and I never went over 50 miles an hour, dude. I've been over 50 miles an hour on a motorcycle. On dirt roads with loose gravel, right? Hitting pockets of rocks and having your steering wheel shake underneath you, and then your heart beating like that, and you're like, I didn't just eat dirt. I'm so happy about that, right? Like, sure, it's fun. I know myself, dude. Like that, there's something crazy inside of me, man. If a car was going to hit me, I would get away. Good thing your hands will be free on the uni, so you can clamp them together and pray as the car hits you. Like I see the stress, bro. Let me just say that, right? Like I see it though. I can see it. I'm stepping into it. Nancy, speed doesn't kill you. Falling does, bro. Are you joking right now? Speed does kill you, man. Like if you're driving a car, you're not falling. Falling doesn't kill you. Speed kills you, right? Like speed is the thing that kills you. Falling doesn't kill you. Why can I like fall down here and I don't die, right? But if I'm traveling at 100 miles an hour and I fall, then I'm gonna die. It's the speed that kills me. It's the momentum and my soft body getting in the way of that. I use electric tools for a living right now. I'm holding a 7.5 amp hour, 56-volt battery. You probably need 2 of those minimum for any kind of range. Oh, dude, you need a lot more than that. Like, it's an absurd amount of batteries. Like, it's like 2,800 watt hours of battery. Like it's a lot of battery. It's so much batteries. $1,000 in America hasn't got you a beater since 2008. Point I'm trying to make is we do not have that luxury, right? Like, and if you want to buy an electric vehicle, you're going to pay about $40,000 for that in South Africa, right? So I can save $40,000 and then buy myself an electric vehicle, or I can save $3,000 and buy myself an electric vehicle, right? And the level of happiness isn't going to be proportional. I'm not going to be 10 times happier buying myself the $40,000 electric vehicle than I am going to be buying myself the $3,000 one, right? Like I've been trying to make this point over and over again. Like I understand, I understand I am having a hard time, right? And I'm the one that wants it. I'm the one that have this decided that I'm going to get myself one. I have a hard time of spending that money. Right, so I get it. I do. I do. I'm there with you, bro. It's just a matter of what it is I believe I want. Right. I'm saying believe I want because I can only find out in getting it. See from then, how things change, what new stresses arise. Struggling to charge up my iPhone. It does have like a cable problem. That's exactly what I paid for my beater in 2008. Holy shit. Oh, yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's a unicycle that fires swagger directly at your mouth at exactly 25 miles per hour. Every time your speed increases, it fires more frequently. We're on the same fractal there, Dan. I don't know how close we were with that intersection, but dude, exactly. That's the most cursed, idea I've heard, but I love it. I love it so much. The Swaggart Mobile. I'm just seeing the sheer confusion in people's faces, right? It's confusing enough seeing a person traveling on one wheel go past you. Seeing them launching globs of swagger into their face at an angle as it returns to them, that would be levels of absurd that I feel like you would probably have to be like, yeah, I think I need to go to sleep, yo. I think I've seen enough today. I'll try again tomorrow. President Obama created the cash for a bill. Anything in the cheap class, like you think exists, here was bought back by the government. Took me 6 months to find a quality used pickup. That's ridiculous, dude. The government, so that they can cash out, so that they can like basically exploit people for more money in return or whatever. I don't know what the reasoning for that would be. Did you get that from an episode of South Park? I don't know. That just feels like Dan, uniquely Dan. Dan in his beautiful mind. No, I guess I sort of like the shake weight episode, Sam. 130,000 miles, 6,500 bucks. There's no longer a new vehicle sold here under $20,000. When I used to sell cars in 2007, a brand new Hyundai Accent was $13,000. Yeah, that sounds about right. Cars, we love to hate them, right? And we also live in a pretty sprawly country, unfortunately. South Africa is big. You need a car here. It is. It is something I'm kicking and screaming against. Something that causes me stress. But I know. I know. I get it. I do. I'm just postponing because I want the tech to get better. I want an electric vehicle. I don't want a combustion engine. I know what. There's one with alternative vehicles that are one giant wheel with no steering sticks. You hold with your mouth and your butt. Sorry, I'm sorry for the information. I just subjected you all to. Like I don't worry about you subjecting me to that information. I'm just worried that it's real. I'm so worried that it's real. Driving something with your mouth gripped onto it feels like such a yikes. Very South Park. Melt, you sound like a 5-year-old telling me how much things cost. I have to spend $100 in gas a day in my life. But that's the point I'm trying to make, dude. Doesn't it make sense to you to not do that, right? To not have to do that. And I know it might not be that easy for you because you need to take landscaping gear with you, right? But you can. You can also, with technology improving, buy an electric vehicle, right? I do not need to have landscaping gear with me. I need technically only a cell phone. It would be nice to have my tripod, but I can fit all of that on my back in my backpack, all right? I can take my work equipment anywhere with me with a single backpack. And then I have my hands free as well while I'm moving, right? Different flavors with different people, dude. Like I was just the thing that I'm fighting against more than anything is your visceral hatred of EUCs and you wanting to throw sticks in front of me. Like that's what I'm trying to really get. I'm like, why are you so opposed to this? Like that's why I'm trying to explain it to you. It's like where is the resistance coming from, dude? Are you fighting the future? Is that what's happening right now? Right? Is this the boomer peeking out on you, being like these fucking kids wanting to write their EUCs? Is that what's happening? I'm sorry for the information. Love is true. Love is true. Thank you, Sam. Melt, correct again. You were loved, Simon. I have to go, but please post the link to the $3,000 Wonder Machine in I'll Eat My Hat on stream if you find you a better electric option. I don't doubt you would, bro. It's not about better or worse. It's about want. Like childish, selfish, uh short-sighted want, right? And I'm aware of that. I'm a person. I'm not above being a person. I'm here for that, right? And the fact that I get to be a person in this time and space that gets to climb on a wheel powered by batteries that I can charge with the sun is cool. It's cool to me. And sue me. I like cool things. I like it. It's cool. It's so freaking cool. Da, 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 da. Duck, I would rather fall at 20 miles per hour than 120 miles per hour. Exactly. Hitting something does. Yeah, dude, that means okay, let's agree to disagree. Let's say speed doesn't kill you, right? Hitting things technically yes, right? Speed doesn't kill you. My mom also said this. Speed doesn't kill you. Suddenly coming to a stop kills you. Right? If you're in a spaceship or in a train, sure, the speed isn't gonna kill you. Suddenly coming to a stop is gonna kill you. Right? I get it. I'm there with you. Hitting something does. Man, she can't fall at 120 if you don't do 120. But if a car is coming at you at 60, you can't match speed to get away double dead with a carry on top. Cherry on top. I mean, sure, unlikely though, right? More likely that you die driving normally, statistically at least, right? Literally. No, actually, no, 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 no. I also learned in this dream that I never want to drive anywhere with any of you, just because in this stream, I'm guessing, just because something can go fast doesn't mean it must. Y'all are nuts. Yes, I've said this to you, Duck Dad. I've been very clear about this. Have you not been listening? I I know these things about myself, and that's why I try to show up for different things. Right? It's like, oh, I have this streak in me that likes to live dangerously. So I have to mindfully not. I have to mindfully not do those things. Uh, okay. If a unicycle falls at the speed of 145 miles per hour, then he tell you that too? Does it really happen? Oh, I get it. It's the 5-year-old, kid being filmed on TV. Doesn't really happen. Doc, I saw a horrifying video of an amusement park ride going wrong and spinning a load of victims around uncontrollably. If someone dies, how do we how do we call that? I mean, it would probably be blood rushing, right? You're not dying of the speed, you're dying of your blood being channeled to your feet and no longer reaching your head, right? Asphyxiation. You're dying of asphyxiation. The speed didn't kill you. Asphyxiation did, right? Like we're just threading lines right now, skirting on technicalities. Point I'm making is if your vehicle cannot go faster than 50 miles an hour, or you can literally set limiters in it, where if you reach 50 miles an hour, it tilts back, right? It tells you, hey, that you know, beep, 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 beep. Hey, oh, pss, 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 what are you doing? You're going too fast. Stop it, right? A motorcycle doesn't do that. If I do this, and then I do this, right? Probably like this. Otherwise, I'm gonna wreck my clutch. It doesn't stop. Oh, it keeps going forward faster. It's fun. It really is. But you can get that experience with an EUC with a lot more immediacy, right? Like it's the feedback loop kind of thing. Centrifugal force depends how far away the car is. Vast majority have recharge/range anxiety. Where do I charge? Anywhere there is a wall socket, technically, right? Anywhere there's electricity. I can promise you there are more places on Earth that have electricity than there are people that have gasoline on tap. I promise. You can fact check me on this. Right? That's where we're heading. It's easier to transport electricity vast distances than it is to transport a liquid, combustible, you know, non-renewable resource. That's kind of the future, right? That I'm looking at. Uh, that's what I'm asking Nan. Is it the speed at which we're going? The length of time that is spent spinning? That's probably a factor as well. Praying to all the gods that everybody introduced to what actually kills them. It's probably asphyxiation, right? Like it's the speed creating technically is it gravity? Would that be the right? It's centrifugal force, right? It's like reverse gravity essentially. So that reverse gravity, because you have mass in your body, liquids as well, right, can be compressed into a certain part of your body in the same way you can, if you're spinning a bottle, the water is going to lean into the part that is the furthest away from the pendulum. So that over a long enough time is going to asphyxiate you essentially. So it's a combination. It's a whammy. Yes, I'm saying I never have spent $100 on gas in a day ever. Not that it was. I mean, how? Like we spend $100 on gas, easy peasy here in South Africa, right? Like that happens. I mean, $100 is probably a little bit much. Is it though? Not really, actually. Yeah, it's half a tank. So, you know, like if you drive a full tank. So, what's wrong, Sua? Like, how much do you spend a month on fuel? Like with the subsidies? $1,000, right? So just in fuel costs, I could technically, purchase this vehicle, right? Like, and then there's no occurring cost, like electricity, sure, but $1,000, that's so much money. So then it's like $100 every 3 days. So not a day, sorry. All right, but my dad spends a lot of time driving for his work as well. He has to go see people. 750. Still, still, if it's more than $300, that's more than I make in a month, right? All of my money, all of my, like, then I have nothing left. So I cannot afford to put fuel in a vehicle right now, at least. So I'm not going to. And again, it's the part of me that gets like really touched about it disappearing, right? It would be one thing if right? I understand investment, right? But now I'm investing in this liquid that I put in this containment vessel, and then after I use my investment, it's gone. It it disintegrates, right? And I see it as like actual value just getting gone. Bye, Dan. Dan is leaving. We love you, bro. Thank you for spending some time with us, man. Do 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 do. It was $5.70 a gallon driving 8 hours. I don't know what your fuel economy is, bro. But we also pay more for fuel here in South Africa, unfortunately. Right? A lot. We pay like $10 a gallon or something. $9 or something. Maybe like $8. I don't know exactly, but we pay quite a bit more. I do have a hatred of them. I think they're absolutely absurd toys at $3,000. You right now could import a tiny Japanese mini truck for $4,000 in South Africa. They get 50 miles per gallon. They're still using fuel. They are putting toxic fumes into the air that Pippi and me breathes. Right? That is what's happening. And if I spend my money to do that, that means I am contributing to it. And I have to vote with my money. I have to tell the universe, what is it I want? Yeah, more combustion. Let's burn things, right? Melting is better than burning. Because when you melt things, you can reuse the molten liquid. You cannot reuse the combusted liquid. It is gone. It is in the air now. Sunset behind you. Yeah. It's like getting there. Has like a little bit left. Can look at a Craigslist for every dude that thought in the electric scooter was going to replace their car. I love electric stuff, but I can also smell a money pit when I see it. I mean, dude, I lived in China, bro. You would be surprised how many people just own an electric scooter and not a car. right? Like the majority, 85% of people owned electric scooters. It's again a matter of where you live. You live in America. You have the American perspective, right? You have to be aware of that and cognizant of it. It's not a money pit, dude. It's a matter of where you live. SA gas is $4.85 a gallon, hardly 10. $4.85? I mean, maybe with the exchange rate right now, right? It probably should be said that our currency has lost half its value in the last 10 years as well. Like I remember when my dad went to America, while he was still here, it was 6 rand per dollar. 8, 8 rand, 8 rand per dollar. Now it's 20, right? And that's in the last 10 years. Just like, it's, yeah. Oh, it's fun. You know, we get to see how the financial system fails right in front of us. Mopeds are fun, but you don't want your buddies to see you riding one. I thought that meant I was fully fuel efficient. I only had 10 beers. There are causes that contribute to the actual moment of collision. Those that cause, without those causes, there is not the outcome. This is also true. I'm heading for a run now. Love you, Dan. Speed, for example, as a cause. Speed is probably the highest cause, right? Speed and drunk driving. Because if you're driving a lot faster, the window to make a decision is a lot smaller, right? So the likelihood of a bad outcome is a lot larger. But if you cannot travel that fast, you have larger windows to make decisions within. Speed, for example, true. I've been another window, editing clip of Mel, Christian, and Johan shooting the shit. It seems relevant to some of the things that we've been talking about. I posted it in general. Thank you. I appreciate that. Lowazana tells me, thank you again, JV, for letting me know. It's so funny, Simon. If you're in the Discord, you have to watch it. I'm happy that you did that, Lowazana. Thank you so much. Let Melt alone and have his toys if he wants it. Yeah. Yeah. Let me have my noise. I'm not gonna get one anytime soon. I feel like that, I keep saying that, right? Maybe in 2 years, when I have the expendable capital to be able to justify something like that. And it is going to contribute to this space. I can take you, friends, through time and space. I can take you, friends, through a small town somewhere in South Africa, right? Show you the trees, literally right underneath them. Go to a park, go and meet people there. Set the stream down, have a conversation in this park, pick you back up again, get back on the wheel, drive to a new place, right? Like that's what I'm hoping for. I would like to create more life in the stream, more variation. I'm just doing what I can with what I have right now. So I do believe it's going to become a part of the stream and it's going to contribute to the value that I'm trying to provide you, friends. I just cannot do it right now. Not yet, at least, right? Partially, and I said this as well, partially because of technology, right? The tech is still pretty new. And battery technology is rapidly getting better year by year, actually month by month, and also cheaper, right? So if I wait 2 years, it's probably going to be down to like $2,000, and the quality of machine that I'll get is going to be twice as good. Can't believe they let your dad come here, but not you. Cruel world. I mean, my dad is, working for, like, at that point, I think, like Anglo America or something. So, like, if you're in the corporate world, it's very easy to go places because you're attached to money. Can't believe, that's okay. Dad's got a bona fide home family vehicle. Yes, that's also right. Right? Like, America will let you in if you have like assets on your name, right? Businesses, vehicles, homes. I do not have any assets. So in their world, I'm a red flag slash flight risk is what they label us as. Whereas like, oh, he's gonna come to America and then stay here, right? And it makes sense because in comparison, the value that you can extract from your society is a lot higher in America than it is here in South Africa. Well, I will be really disappointed if you don't get one. Hold on to that dream. Mojo, it was Mojo who said it. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I will. I will hold on to the dream. I'm patient at least, right? I feel if anything, I'm pretty patient. I started wanting a gaming computer when I was 14. I started playing a Crisis on my dad's work laptop. And that was one of the experiences I got to have that made me feel a sense of awe, right? That my dad for work has this machine that can let me play games on it, right? And then I figured out the reason it is so is because it has to have better specs for some of the programs my dad was running. And then becoming fascinated with computers and the specs that they have. And then going onto these websites and building myself these supercomputers, well, not supercomputers, just high range computers, and then fantasizing, right? Oh, how can I get one of those? And then 7 years later, yeah, no, 8 years later, I had one of those computers, right? So I'm willing to wait 8 years. Easy peasy, yo. I got all the time that life will give me. I don't have to stress about this. I just have to show up. Not a lot of 24-year-old men have a home and family, vehicle. Okay, this is true. I could have had a vehicle by this point. I just don't believe in vehicles, right? I don't believe in them. And I haven't died. I'm still okay. Sure, there's like levels of having to rely on people, but I think that's good. I think it's good to have people help you, right? I asked my dad if he has any plans to go to Pretoria, and he's going to Pretoria on Monday. So I'm going to go with him. And then I'm going to get to stay with Johan and Christian, right? If I had my own car, I would have probably only went through to the festival on Friday, not getting to stay with my friends. So again, not having a car is a good thing. It's a matter of how you frame it. Exactly, that's why they won't let him in. Itinerant hippie. Itinerant. Hey Google, define itinerant. Traveling from place to place. You don't know me. Been talking about wanting to travel from place to place. Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I want to itinerate it. I am absolutely confused how gas is $10 a gallon in Africa. When you get gas from Russia and Iran, it was like $10 a gallon. Here I get a horse. Yeah, basically in comparison, right? Like if you were buying the same gas, because that's what's happening right now, is we are buying gas for like 25 rand a liter, right? So it's 100 rand for 4 liters. And I think 4 liters is around the price that, or the amount of 4 liters is about a gallon. At least that's the way I was doing the math, which means it's 100 rand for about a gallon. And in my mind, it used to be $8 for $1, which means it's technically $12, right, per gallon here in South Africa with the old conversion rate. But yeah, that's not how it's supposed to be done. Technically, that is how we're spending money, right? Like we're spending double the amount of money that we used to on the same resource, and it's still combusting just as fast. Right? It's still getting eviscerated. Oh, okay. Just to give you the logic chain. Joy saving the best for last. Melt. Had his exchange rates a little twisted. Exactly. Gotta get a horse. There's expensive too. Exactly. I have to feed them too. See you tomorrow. Love to you. I'm happy that you're having that time with your son. Streaming from Pretoria. It's gonna happen soon, dude. Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna stream at Christian and Johan's. Eventually, I look forward to having a compact little 3D or actually 360 camera that can hopefully live stream. Maybe it will connect to my phone and my phone will then live stream the feed. I'll figure it out when we get there. And then I'll have you friends on an extension stick. And then you will literally in your browser get to look in my environment, right? As I'm sitting in the park, you get to look at the park. You don't have to look at me, right? And I don't have to move you around with my hands. You actually get to have that autonomy. And again, I'm gonna have to buy that thing too, right? And to one person, it might be a toy. To me, it's a way to make the space even more of what it already is, right? A moment in space and time where we get to be as friends, showing up for love ultimately. He usually streams from where he goes, Simon. It's a good time. Yeah, right? Thank you, Joy, for saying that. It's fun. I look forward to being able to go more places, have more conversations. I'm just biding my time. I am in no rush because even if I rush, even if I stress about it, I will never in my lifetime, or at least in a normal human lifetime, get to see the entirety of the earth. Never, never ever could I ever see all of the earth, right? There's like literal undiscovered caves on the earth right now. We still don't know so much about the stuff that we have on our planet. We have these ancient cradle of man, Stonehenge, stone circle, sites here in South Africa as well. I live in this country. I didn't even know about it until recently. And now I want to go there too. This festival that I'm going to is actually pretty close to it. So maybe I will get to very soon. Yeah. I am idolizing. And I do that, and you friends have done that with me. And in a large part, it's working, right? And I'm saying in large part because the universe doesn't follow the same kind of rules, the time frames that we as humans do. But we have to realize, in a universal scale, the fact that you can achieve anything, anything whatsoever, in 10 years, in 100 years, is inconceivable. The universe achieves things on billion-year time frames, right? You can do something in 10. You can do something right now. That's crazy. That's insane, right? You're moving at the speed of light in comparison to the rest of the universe. So take your time. Stop stressing about it, right? You cannot do it, so you might as well try. Simon, I dig your vibe. Hope to see you here more often. Simon has been more present. It's very nice that you're sending him that love as well. Thank you, Mojo. Felt really down and grumpy before the stream, but now I feel better and want to teleport to Mel's garden. You are! Look, dude, you've done it. Oh, sure, you don't have the actual superpowers, but you're like very close. Oh, look at this. You're so close to the superpowers, bro. You're like looking through a little window into my garden. What a trip. I can feel more of you here now that I've actually kind of like verbalized to myself as well. Where's the festival? It is in Parais in South Africa. That's what it's called. Let me verbalize. Something like Rocky Ridge. That's the venue called. That's what the venue is called. Rocky Ridge in Parais. Hey, it's Cyclone joining us too. I was wondering where you are, dude. I was like looking for my Cyclone. It's hard to miss a Cyclone. So it's nice seeing you, dude. Sending you lovin's. Actually, my dream, actualize your dreams, my friend. Maybe deep down I'm jealous of an electric vehicle. Definitely not, but I just want to feel loved. You are, bro. So loved. The stream disconnected for a second. You are loved, bro. So loved, man. And I unironically would like to ride electric vehicles with you, right? You can have an electric bike or an electric scooter or an electric trike, maybe an electric drift trike, maybe an electric penny farthing. I think I'm joking. Go look it up online. You can get electric. I mean, it's a YouTuber who made one, but you can freaking electrify penny farthings. Some of your friends are like, "What is this dude talking about?" Go and look up what a penny farthing is, right? Future generations. Just witness the fact that people used to write these things because they didn't understand gear ratios. So they literally had to make, they did understand gear ratios, but they didn't really understand gear ratios. So to move like a small little axis like this enough so you actually travel fast, they just made the wheels enormous. Mounting those vehicles, right? Like, and people were riding those things, dude. They were happy. They were happy to ride those things. So I feel like it's again the same level of odd with the unicycles, that it doesn't feel right, right? It feels dangerous, and you look at it like that. But people are happy to ride them because you know how to. Once you do, sure you're gonna stress out about it, right? Like I just imagining getting on a penny farthing stresses me out. Let me just show you a photo. Hey Google, can you show me a photo of a penny farthing bicycle? This is so freaking crazy. This photo. I cannot even imagine. What the fuck? Look at that. So what you do is you literally push it in this direction, and then when it has momentum, you jump all the way from the ground, all up on top of a little seat, and then you mount like that, and then you have to start pedaling so you can maintain momentum. Look at this dude. He's on a penny farthing and he's taking photos. He's one-handing. He's one-handing a penny farthing. What? Like this is the point I try to make, dude. It's like people don't care if it's dangerous. Oh, like look at how far you would fall, head to ground ratio, right? Like that's what I'm paying attention to. It's like that's a lot of head to ground ratio there, dude. Like that's a far distance for your head to travel from the freaking top of that thing to the ground. And people were riding them. Oh, that dude was riding it with one hand taking photos. Oh, imagine having two hands to hold your camera with and show people things, right? Oh, da, 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 da. Yo, I'm late. You're here, dude. You're here. Cyclone, you are here. It was a short run. I'm a little out of shape. You are getting into shape, bro. I'm proud of you. Your run just showed you where some of the stress, right, resides. Mel, could you play at least some of that clip I just posted for Simon? I want him to experience a little of your friends who are nuts. I would be happy to. Let's go to the Discord. Skibby bop. Skibby bop. General, right? Let's do this. I think it's going to be close enough to the microphone. You sent the actual video? I don't know why, but I think Discord is just kind of bad in South Africa. Right? I feel like that's in large part why I don't use it. Because this is how a lot of my files show up. It's just nothing. Right? Sometimes even like the little profile pictures or stuff will show up just as nothing. But Louisiana has asked, so we shall wait. The inception. Me seeing myself in the reflection, seeing myself in the reflection, seeing myself in the reflection, seeing you. Right? this is this is what real pain feels like for a millennial, right? Getting tortured? Nah, easy peasy. Oh, starving? That would be so easy. I'm making horrible jokes right now, so do bear with me. Hey, uh, Having your internet have to buffer. That's the real tragedy. That's where pain. Okay, I think we're still waiting. We got an image at least. That's a step in the right direction. Me looking at myself and my homie having chats. Are we talking right now? What's happening? Okay, it started playing, but it has 3 seconds of buffer. Louisiana, I love you so much, my dear friend, but I don't think this is gonna work. I really wish, but I this is like the extreme case. Remember when I get triggered with the whole trying to load a photo, right? And it takes 15 seconds. Yeah, this is like the steroids of that because now instead of it being a photo, it is probably 24 photos in a second to make it video and then audio as well. Thank you so much. I was hoping, for the most part, that the clip that you were mentioning was like a clip within the YouTube, network. That would have probably been a little bit faster. Here's a hilarious clip of Melty, Christian, and Johan shooting the shit about objective versus non-objective substances, pre-festival jitters, psychedelics, dancing in the hail, moderation, why cars are dangerous, and miniature woolly mammoths, among other things. I love that title so much. Maybe post it on YouTube, Louisiana. That way I might actually be able to load it. But yeah, Discord is really not a fun experience in South Africa. It is purely something that I do for utility. I'm like, yeah, this software does kind of work, right? But like emphasis on the kinda. It's like, yo, it will get better surely. Mm. Dum 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 dum. Gotta run, getting ready to go to a drag and brunch show. A bird just flew over my head. I feel like that's very appropriate. I did it again. Let's see if I can catch it next time. Do it. Let's see. Let's see if we're gonna get one. This will be the experience. I shall be as the earth. There we go. I barely exist. I'm just part of tree now. Uh, Sounds like a Ace Dragon brunch. I hope that I understand it correctly because that sounds like a lot of fun. Love you, Bigly. Thanks, Mel. Thank you, Simon. I'm going to get up and make my coffee. Do it. Sounds like a blast. Have a great time. Joy casually mentioning Dragon Brunch like it's a thing. Is that a thing? Yeah, I'm just imagining, places because this is what I'm imagining. A place where you like one fractal, you dress up in drag, and then you go and eat brunch. Fractal 2, you go and eat brunch, and there are people in drag. And I feel Fractal 2 is the one that I hope it is. Not that I have anything, find anything wrong with dressing in drag and then going to eat brunch. More so, like if I have to dress up in drag every single time I want to eat brunch, yeah, see, dude, I don't think I'm going to go and eat brunch there much, right? But if there's people in drag, I think I might go and eat there more than if I have to get up, get dressed first. Oh, love is true. Thank you for giving us that, small, like specifically, meaningfully vague little, snippet into your fractal right now, Joy. I feel like it's better. Actually, I know how to get the exposure better because YouTube has an algorithm to try and expose from my face first, right? So if my face is properly exposed, the backside is going to change contrast. I hope I didn't just school myself. I'm speaking like I know something, but only because I've had some experience. Do I have to do more? Yeah, the more I do, the better the contrast. But it might get too bright. I feel like this is much. I'm gonna turn it down instead. It'll get better, little by little. There we go. Sounds messy. Probably go armed. What's happening right now? Don't have Dragon Brunch shows in the Midwest. Probably go armed. What? We do have them. They just go without certain risks. Yeah, we do that because we live in the United States and we don't have to utilize stolen swordfish to defend ourselves. Yeah, you got Glocks. Everybody can get a Glock. You can get a Glock at Walmart. Get your Glock now. Come on, kids, get your Glocks. I shouldn't. This is not funny, but yeah, you know what you understand. You understand exactly. I just googled it. It is a thing. I gotta get out more. Defending ourselves. Oh, Dragon Brunch. Uh, I mean, yeah, why not? If not, why not, right? Get out more, Mojo. Use that wheel of yours to drive yourself straight to a Dragon Brunch. Here we are, back to Glockman. Glockman. It's Glockman. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Glockman. And he's running at us so he can get in shooting distance with his Glocks. What is his superpower? He doesn't have superpowers. He has Glocks. It's right there in the name. Are you stupid? Glocks, man. I'm also ripping on it right now, Simon. I love it. Oh man, sorry, Hoopy. We're off topic. Today's stream topic was about stress, specifically about how we can lean into stress. Maybe that's what was happening, right? I was leaning into the stress. Bruh, I want better contrast on the sky. I want to completely be out of the shot. That is technically the best chance that it's got. It'll get better. It'll get better, I promise. I'm also wanting for less exposure. I want more dynamic range. You see, what's happening right now is the child in me is becoming convinced that it needs better camera equipment. It's like, yeah, bro, if you had a $4,000 DSLR, no, it's relax. Oh, a $4,000 DSLR makes this whole thing harder, exponentially so, actually, because now I need something. Maybe it can stream itself, probably not at least in the quality that I'm buying the thing for. So I'm gonna have to have like a computer with a capture card, transferring live data through a cable. Then I'm going to have to try and fix the audio to it. Then I'm gonna have to connect that computer to an internet connection that is going to be high bandwidth enough to actually utilize said data that I'm trying to transmit. Stress, right? Sometimes we get ourselves so caught up in the stress of thinking doing something or buying something is going to fix the problem. Nope. There are more things to consider. Melt, you make Dragon EUC a thing. Okay, I can see it. Yeah, it took me a moment, right? I was like, huh? And then I was like, huh? No, I'm probably not going to do that. Just because it's going to be expensive and it's going to be high risk, right? Because I'm imagining the second fractal from the previous conversation, right? You go a place to get brunch and your waiters are dressed in drag. Now, Dragon EUC, you go to a place to get brunch, but your waiters are riding EUCs while in drag. That's too much. Sunset, yeah, it's getting better. Come on, contrast. Come on, because there's a lot of light actually still coming at us, right? Like the sun hoys. Like I can't see that amount of light, but it is beautiful. Like for me, one of my favorite things about this kind of like time of day is just that. And like that's why I keep wanting to go back to that frame. Like trees and the way they cast these beautiful shadows, the fractals, right? Damn nature, how you do that, yo? Let's pull a card while your friends are looking at the stars. Technically, you are. They're just being blown out right now. And you're also looking at our stars light, right? regarding the examination of nature. Ask about your stress. Love is true. I feel like I missed maybe something. The crickets are so loud. Only when I talk though? Like I can barely see them registering on the mic. Usually there's like one that has this like repetitive, extremely loud, call. Hermite block man. Okay. Wish I had your peace and quiet surroundings. I'm giving you as much of it as I can, Simon. Every little bit of it that I could give is being given to you right now. Card time. Man, I think you're gonna trip out, Shan. I think this card it's gonna be like looking at you. Cheers, mate. Love to you, Simon. This is the card we pulled today, dude. New beginnings. Maybe it'll feel that way for you too, right? Talking about how this moment holds the potential for a whole different life for you. This moment has new beginnings. All moments have the possibility for new beginnings. Oh, geez. Yeah, right? Yeah, I told you. Did warn you. New beginnings. One more time. A mother breathing life into a baby with the full spectrum shining. Rainbow coming out of the little hand. What a trip. This card is so sick. Yes, going to try and reset. Bless, bro. Card number 31. New beginnings, birth, prana, and breath. No, this is the fractal that we need to celebrate. I'll be a part of the tree. Yes, perfect. This is a card of new beginnings and renewed life force. The mother goddess passes on the breath of life, the vital, life-sustaining force of living prana, as the child is birthed into this plane of existence. Hearts formed from golden spirals carry the energy of deep love to this new beginning. Pulling this card indicates that new beginnings are expanding your life. Breathe into this new energy and feel the life force that resides there. I have to pause and say, wouldn't having a kid be one of the most stressful things in your life? Right? And yet, that's a new beginning, right? That you're literally breathing, that you're stepping into the stress. Follow the prana in your breath as you inhale and exhale. Feel how your energy is renewed with each breath. Breathe. Picture yourself breathing life into each new beginning. Whether you are birthing a child, a relationship, or a creative project, inhale life force into your lungs and heart, and then exhale prana into your endeavor. Feel the evolution of your new beginnings filled with life force and success. Recognize how the events of your life activate new beginnings each and every day, with each breath, with each fresh viewpoint. Every day, with each fresh viewpoint. Isn't that what we try to do in these streams? Right? Every day, with a new, fresh viewpoint. I feel like I'm missing on the fresh, right? What is fresh? I feel like even though our ideas might not always be uber original, I don't think they need to be, right? I don't think there is such a thing as an original idea. What we do have is an original moment, because in sharing a bland, idea that's been said 1,000 times over again, in this way, we get to create actually something new, right? That is the something new, not the idea, but this. A new, fresh viewpoint. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Shan, for being here for this. Every single one of you, friends. 31 new beginnings. I apologize for triggering you, Mel. I'm uploading it to YouTube, but it's going slow. You don't have to. I wasn't triggered at you, right? I was more triggered at Discord and it being not the platform that it could be, right? It's like father being disappointed in a project, not a child. No, being disappointed in your children. I'm feeling bad just thinking about it right now. Right, I'm trying to understand where my triggering is coming from. Right, why does my technology not loading things cause me pain? Actually, I do know. It's a respect of time, right? Where even for a second, if it takes a second to not load, again, my mind goes into the fractal of there are X amount of friends here. So I'm not just losing a second, I'm losing multiple seconds. And then every extra added second on that I lose, I feel like I'm doing you a disservice, right? Yeah. Yeah, okay. It's not disappointed father energy. It's more people pleasing. No, that doesn't have a nice ring to it. Consideration. Yeah, you see the freaking words you use. It's consideration. So yeah, thank you for being considerate as well in turn, Louisiana. I see you. You don't have anything to apologize for. Thank you for helping. Nice card. Okay, I need to go and start my day. Love you. For a new beginning to you, right? Your day is just starting, as you're mentioning. Mindfulness and breathing technique is powerful. Thanks, Mel. I see a massive camera in space. It's not exactly the James Webb Telescope. It was more basic than that, right? It had a more traditional camera-like body and a massive lens with like satellite-looking appendages. Sending you good vibes, dude. Sending you satellites in space. Camera satellites in space. Suddenly, your apartment building gets hit by a satellite. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I had to say it before you could, kind of vibe, right? Look at the awesome colors. I'm not talking about Mel shared the horizon. It really is a vibe, dude. The fact that the earth, lets us experience stuff so beautiful. It truly is a blessing. It's gonna make it better in the end. The fact that it went from blue to that, dude. How is that even real? Oh, I think it worked. There we go. Sicketh. This is probably gonna be a lot faster. Yeah, instantly. Instantly it's going. So let me get the microphone close again. I hope it's not too loud. I'm gonna do something that I do as like a cheat, but a meaningful or intentional one, right? I'm gonna skip to 4 minutes and 44 seconds, and then I'll tune out at like 5 minutes or something, right? 5 minutes and 55 seconds. Like yours, I'm probably gonna cringe every single time I say anything. There's a version of me that's going to realize a version of me that has died remains alive, and I'm gonna have to be like, you know what? I'm gonna hide my face. I'm gonna pretend I'm like screen man. I don't have my comments on that one anymore. Okay, I'm basically in the dark right now. Let me see if I can reload my comments here or something. Okay, there we go. Nice. Marla. You see you friends reacting with me potentially. My attempt to skip to 4 minutes and 44 seconds is met with disdain. It's angry at me. This is the price you pay, right? This is me leaning into the stress. I like how I was like, yeah, wasting people's time makes me trip out. Proceeds to waste your time. Okay, let's go again. This time. Away from it. It's not even the worst worse effects the next day. But the fact disconnected here. Let's try it on this side instead. If you want to again do it gluttonously, right? Like it kind of encourages that behavior where, oh, if you want to contain. This is causing me so much stress. I feel like this universe has such a beautiful way of teaching lessons. You know, like it's so in your face. It's like it's a little bit much sometimes. Louisiana, I'm gonna just say thank you. Thank you so much for going through that effort, for editing a video, stepping into the stress, right? I appreciate it so much. Go and watch it, right? Remind yourself of the fact that we had. I appreciate. Maybe I can upload it to my channel as well, actually, as like a cut. If you wouldn't mind me doing that, Louisiana, I would really appreciate if I could. Maybe, maybe you can actually do that, right? I can give you like moderator privileges on my channel or something. That way you can quite literally post directly to my channel if you wanted to. Let's get this back again. Don't want to hear myself talk. There we go. Yeah, that sunset though. We're hitting like peak prettiness for me. Like this is where I find the most, bliss. Mostly because there's like a transition that all that happens like around here. I can feel like the camera doesn't pick it up that well, but like purples, beautiful purples, so beautiful. Going to watch the darts, guys. So stay safe, stay strong, and big up to Melt for brightening up my sorry ass existence, bro. You exist right now, dude. Ain't nothing sorry about that. I'm not sorry that you exist. Neither should you be. And you should know, bro, that existence is only going to gain more significance as we continue. So, do continue. Watch your darts, though. Rep your favorite dart man, or wham man, or non identifying person. Have fun, Simon. Blessings. Hope to see you again, Simon. Thank you for the love and friends. Let's play some kalimba, shall we? Melt good, seeing all things, making a melt stream, the inclusive immersiveness that it is. No, you don't. Right? You friends are the inclusive immersiveness. Because technically, I'm just some dude sitting on a farm right now. Right? You are including me in your life by showing up. So thank you. Thank you for making this a melt stream. We love that you exist with us, Simon. Have a beautiful day. Thank you, Shan, for echoing that love again. Okay, kalimba time? I feel like the light is too bright now. There we go, that's better. I shall be a face at most. Thank you, internet, service providers. Thank you, infrastructure. Get better and stronger and more humanity oriented. And just like that, we have officially melted more. It's done. It has been done. You have consciously evolved. Congratulations. We now have upgraded +2 our stress resistance stats. Gang, gang. Nobody can take that away from you ever again. Is that a Ben? Old school. Whoa, Bold. Bro, it's so nice to see you. Bold school, while we were doing the stream, also had a child. A child. How is the little one doing, dude? It's so nice seeing you. Happy you're more. Happy you're well. Thank you. I'm happy that you're here right now, dude. Before we finish the stream, I have to know how the little one's doing. And then we'll say goodbye to you too, dear friend. Ryman Van Banley is my favorite player. Stay cool. You too, dude. We'll see you soon. Ben Jr. is great. Thankful for every minute we have with him. Please be, right? That's literally the only thing that you have to do. Right? It's gonna be stressful. Weirdly enough, we were talking about new beginnings. That's the card we pulled today, Ben. And it was literally a mother holding a baby, breathing new life into this baby's life, right? And I was mentioning the whole stream topic was about how stress is going to be a part of our lives, right? But heading in the direction of that stress can benefit your life, right? Realizing that stress is not something to run away from, but something that you can actually earn something through, be it experience, life, by actually pursuing it. And having a child is probably one of the most stressful things you could do. Thank you for heading in that direction, dude, for not running in the opposite direction, for showing up for your loved one. Love is true. Stress alongside with love. He just learned colors and how to get on the recliner. What the? What's up? Bruh, in my mind, your little one was still basically, incapacitated, non-moving entity. No, it learns colors. It knows colors. My dog is like so old, doesn't know any colors. What the hell, yo? I'm riffing on the joke where people are like, having a kid is like having a dog, but it slowly learns to talk. Yours knows colors now, dude. So much love. So much love to you. Thank you, friends, for joining me. We'll read our Shan message and then we'll say goodbye. So I'll say, have the most beautifulest day, everyone. I seriously love you all so very supersized, duper sized, considerably, colossally, monstrously, mountainously, massively dearly, melting all of you oh so very, absolutely fantastically, remarkably, phenomenally, enchantingly, dynamically, exuberantly, outstandingly, gorgeously, luminously magical, luminously, magically magical, stellar, divine friends I'm grateful to have to step into, stress alongside with. I saw a caterpillar then turning into a butterfly. He just learned colors. Love, love again. So much love. Miss you, man. Thankful. Got to see you, my friend. I'm here day by day. Takes but a moment to think that that's happening, and then you're there too, right? And if the moment of just thinking, right? Like I do say to you, friends, I'm no more than a thought away. None of us will ever again be more than a thought away. It does sometimes help to close the gap because sometimes just thoughts can be everywhere, right? But thank you, friend, for thinking about this space and showing up for it. It was nice seeing you too. Love is true. We did it. Go and do something for the world, right? You have my son. You took it. You took the sun from me. You still have it, bro. Please do something with it at least. I'll have it tomorrow again. So I'm gonna have to be waiting. Love you. Until tomorrow. When I see you again.